I'm Graham Lynch for TelecomTV, and we're speaking with Paul Callahan, who's the Vice President for Business Development at Airvana. Thanks for joining us today.
It's good to be here.
Well, you've come to the 3G World Congress this year with a message that VoIP is as much of an opportunity as a threat to carriers. Tell us more.
Well, I think it's a very misunderstood area, and so I'm trying to help people understand what it's all about. And the reason is basically because we built a network, and the industry has built a network that is specifically designed for voice over IP, for push-to-talk, for multimedia applications. There's a quality of service capability that is really outstanding in the data world. So essentially you can run an all-data network and carry voice over the common infrastructure. But the basic misunderstanding is actually about what VoIP or voice over IP gets you as an operator. And that's what I really want to change, kind of on a, hopefully on a worldwide basis by pulling in applications, right? So if you think about, the way to think about this is that presence information, information that I decide to publish about myself, automatically through my mobile phone, or you do the same, is incredibly valuable, and albeit simple information, incredibly valuable to the user. And this really all got started by, Instant Messenger. The whole concept of a buddy list in Instant Messenger turns out to be very high value. And, you can real-time tell whether the other end is there or not. If someone at the other end is doing something, they don't want to be bothered. It's all part of the infrastructure. And so that's what voice over IP gets you. The whole concept of, SIP, Session Initiation Protocol, and IMS builds in your ability to publish information about yourself. If I'm in a meeting, I don't want to be bothered, or I'm online, or I'm not online, it's all built in there. So imagine on your phone an IM application that is actually voice over IP based, that allows you to have buddy lists and presence information built in as your primary user interface to making phone calls.
Okay, a lot of carriers will see the value of that, but when they think VoIP, they panic a bit and think,
Right.
Well, all it means is I'm going to have my core tariff slashed to nothing. Do you think that these new applications can be monetized to the same extent
Sure.
as traditional voice?
Sure. I think to a large extent what you're seeing worldwide is a decline in voice revenues, or ARPU, right? If you look at the average revenue per user for voice is going down, but data revenue is going up. So in fact, the overall average revenue per user for these services combined is kind of staying steady. But voice is going down and data is going up. So, data is where you're making your money today. And I think, if you consider this to be yet another monetizable data application, that's where to go.
Now, I understand Airvana fits into the whole ecosystem here on the infrastructure side, and that's what you do. Can you tell us more about your offerings?
Sure. We provide EVDO infrastructure, the EVDO network for Nortel. They are our biggest customer. We have other OEM customers which we will announce in the next few months, but Nortel has been a fantastic channel to market for us. And we have some very large customers, among them Sprint and Verizon, and 15 operators worldwide. So we're transitioning our product line, as is everyone else in the EVDO space, from Rev 0 or Revision 0 to Revision A, which gives you this quality of service capability and very good support for voice over IP. So we're trying to beat the drum for applications. So one of the things I've done is created a lab in the Boston area, and I'm inviting application vendors to bring in very innovative applications. For example, I'm talking with a Korean manufacturer who develops handset-based applications that are all IP-based or voice over IP-based. They use an IMS backend, and I want to bring them into that lab, put them in front of some of our biggest potential operator customers, end customers, and Nortel, of course, and stimulate discussion and interest in applications that are voice over IP based.
Okay, now you announced this lab back in September, and I
Right.
understand there's already a number of participants.
Right.
Can you tell us more about them?
Sure. One of the participants is Audio Codes. Audio Codes makes a gateway product that goes from, basically voice over IP to circuit connections. And one of the critical pieces of their product, for example, is the codecs that they house in the gateway. Because this new generation of voice over IP applications, in order to get, decent or even better quality at the voice level compared to circuit, has to have new codecs. So the codecs that are used in voice over IP are known as EVRC-B and EVRC wideband, and you have to have corresponding codecs in the gateways. So we've been working with them and testing product with them for quite a while. They have a relationship with Qualcomm, who's also a key partner for us and also an investor in Airvana. So we have a very tight working relationship with Qualcomm as well. We've been working with a company called Callahan. It does something known as a PCRF, which is basically a policy mechanism to control applications. When you roll out new applications and you have different qualities of service, when you decide, I'm going to authenticate Graham and let him into the network, today it's a simple yes-no decision to let you into the network. But as you roll out more applications, you have to say, well, wait a minute, Graham has access to these 3 applications at this level of quality through the network, off you go. So it's a much more complex environment to manage. You need to work with other infrastructure players, AAA, policy, gateways. There are lots of moving parts in the back end of the voice over IP network. You want to make sure everything works together. You want to make sure that you have very good working relationship with those parts and how they interact with the radio access network. So it's a whole new era in terms of the way the radio access network works.
Okay. Tell us a bit more about Airvana. You're not that well known a company, I guess, because you sell to vendors.
Right.
You don't have a big brand in the industry. So tell us more about the heritage of the company.
Airvana is a company that was started in 2000, and currently we're at about 450 employees, mostly engineering. We have very low overhead in the company because we're really focused on research and development. And since we sell to OEMs primarily, we're really focused on developing the leading edge products. We have about 70 engineers in India, in Bangalore. The majority of our development is still in the U.S., and that's where our core architecture comes from.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for telling us about Airvana, and thank you very much for joining us on TelecomTV today.
Thanks for having me.